Basiliximab is an immunosuppressant that functions by blocking the IL-2 receptor of T cells. There are a few facts you need to remember about Basiliximab, so I'll share my visual mnemonic to help you remember all the information you need to know for test day. Oh man, the basilisk appears to be wreaking havoc on huge warts. If you've ever watched movies or read books about a certain boy wizard, you know that there's this giant snake called the basilisk. Well, this basilisk is our symbol for Basiliximab, since basilisk and Basiliximab sound alike. Now that we've set a memory anchor, let's explore the rest of the scene to learn more about Basiliximab. Luckily, it appears that help is already arriving on the scene. Check out this cane in Dumbledore's hand. I've always thought of Dumbledore as one of those old wizards that needs a cane to get around. This cane also happens to be our symbol for immunosuppression. Since immunosuppression means a weakened immune system, and a cane is used when someone is too weak to walk, we're using a cane for immunosuppression. Get it? Basiliximab is an immunosuppressive drug, used primarily for preventing immune rejection after organ transplant. If you want an additional peg, notice how the basilisk is smashing those suits of armor. I've always thought suits of armor belong in huge warts. This broken armor also represents immunosuppression, since your immune system defends you, kind of like armor. So how does Basiliximab suppress the immune system? Take a look at what's in the basilisk's mouth. Looks like this basilisk has raided a student's room and is now crunching down on a shoe rack. You can even see all the pairs of shoes inside. By the way, the interlocking pairs of shoes are here to make you think of interleukin-2, since interlocking objects are a recurring symbol for the interleukins, and shoe is our recurring rhyme for the number 2. And the shoe rack? Well, that's where you put your interlocking shoes, right? Similarly, the IL-2 receptor is where interleukin-2 binds. Putting this together, this basilisk targeting the shoe rack for interlocking shoes represents the molecular target of Basiliximab, the IL-2 receptor. Recall from our video on IL-2 that IL-2 cytokine is needed for the growth of all lymphocytes, especially T cells. Basiliximab is an antibody designed to antagonize IL-2 receptors, inhibiting IL-2 signaling. Inhibiting this IL-2 signaling suppresses the growth of all lymphocytes, including T cells, B cells, and NK cells. Obviously, this suppresses the immune response to all threats, which is otherwise known as immunosuppression. Got that? Before we close, I want to briefly mention a few side effects seen with Basiliximab use: edema, hypertension, and tremor. All of these side effects are non-specific and basically useless to remember for test day, as it's basically impossible to test you this way. As such, I would not recommend focusing here. Instead, dedicate more time to associating Basiliximab with the IL-2 receptor, which is how they will get you on test day. Alright, that's it for Basiliximab. Let's recap before we end. Basiliximab is an immunosuppressant drug used primarily in preventing transplant rejection. Basiliximab achieves its immunosuppressive effects by binding to and blocking the IL-2 receptors. This prevents the growth of all lymphocytes, including T cells, B cells, and NK cells. That's all for this one. Let's leave Dumbledore with the basilisk and get out of here.